She opens her mouth and a lie comes out. Meghan Markle's despicable new interview with Emily Chang from Bloomberg, an interviewer who wasn't prepared to question her on any of these lies as they grabbed burgers and beers at one of her favourite local spots, was yet again a despicable and ludicrous attack on the royal family, as she claimed that she was told to wear nude pantyhose while being controlled in terms of her speech.
All right, let's unpack this beast of an interview, because Meghan Markle's latest sit-down with Bloomberg's Emily Chang has blown up in exactly the way Meghan probably didn't intend. What was supposed to be a polished, glossy PR moment has instead turned into yet another round of here we go again for her critics, and honestly, even some neutrals are rolling their eyes at this point.
Let me repeat, in case there are some people who are missing this at the back. I was there through this entire period, reporting through this entire period. Meghan Markle was never told within the British royal family what to say or what to wear. The royal family were acutely aware that this woman had plans to make trouble for them in the future. So these are lies. And we're going to deconstruct them today with royal YouTube sensation P. Dina, who is back in her studio after her travels to the United Kingdom and Europe. But let's kick off with, I think, the most egregious claim from this totally propaganda-like interview.
Is there an inherent tension in trying to be relatable while also being a duchess?
No, I don't find, I'm just being myself. So I think probably it was different several years ago where I couldn't be as vocal and I had to wear nude pantyhose all the time. Let's be honest, that was not very myself. I hadn't seen pantyhose since movies in the 80s when they came in the little egg. That felt a little bit inauthentic, but that's a silly example. But it is an example of when you're able to dress the way you want to dress and you're able to say the things that are true and you're able to show up in the space really organically and authentically. That's being comfortable in your own skin. And that's, of course, had different chapters in my life. But right now, no, I don't feel that I need to prove anything.
As the Royal Rogue posted, it's like a greatest hits album of all of Meghan's body language traits rolled into one absolute masterpiece. P. Dina, when is she going to start being called out for these lies? Shame on Bloomberg. I thought they were a credible news organisation. No pushback whatsoever. She is painting a fantasy. I mean, it's interesting she's now not talking about the neutral colours, given that's usually what she chooses to wear even in Montecito.
Yeah, exactly, Dan. You know, Meghan is the kind of person that wants to paint things a certain way, and she really only speaks with people who are going to collaborate in helping her to paint that image. However, when I watched this interview, I did point out and see a few things that where they did call her out. It was very subtle. And I think that's the only way you can get Meghan to cooperate and work with you. But the things that they did say, or like Emily said, where she talked about Meghan would not share the sales figures with them. And even towards the end of the interview, they gave a blueprint about, you know, the only way she can be successful is to have a personality or a brand that people like, that they want to buy from, purchase from. It was very subtle. But at the same time, I think, yes, the narrative is always go along with what I'm trying to paint and show people, and then I will speak with you. And I think for most people, they really do need to call her out in a way is very blatant.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear what you're saying. I think Emily Chang knows that the whole brand is a disaster because it's a business network. But the problem is, it's this narrative in regards to the royal family, in regards to the United Kingdom, because also she couldn't even bring herself when she was asked about Montecito to just make it positive about California. You can see, and we'll look at this, everything is about looking back to how horrible and awful and revolting her time was in the royal family. And again, you've got to read between the lines here, but it's very, very obvious what she's trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Let's just have a
Meghan.
watch and then I'll get you to react,
Okay.
Dinah. Sorry.
All right.
I'm going to walk you through the key points of what Meghan said, why people like royal commentator Dina are calling it out as lies, and how this fits into Meghan's ever-slippery public persona. We'll also dive into why so many people find her unlikable, how she reacts under pressure, and why this whole I'm just being authentic shtick keeps falling flat. Buckle up, because there's a lot here to dig through. So, Meghan opens the interview by going back to one of her oldest grievances, being forced to wear nude pantyhose when she joined the royal family. According to her, it felt inauthentic and old-fashioned, like something from the 80s. Cue the violins.
What's it about Montecito? Like, what made this place feel like home more than other places?
Well, we moved here 5 years ago. Oh, we're just so happy because we can take our kids to school and have a really supported, sweet life, running around and doing the things that I think everyone maybe is part of your day-to-day, but if you don't think about what life would be like without those moments,
Right.
it's easy to take them for granted. So I love it. We have such a beautiful, embracing community. Yeah, I've been able to really create and dream.
Again, I'm sorry, Dinah, I just call bullshit on this. She had a completely supported life within the royal family. She would absolutely have been able to take her children to school. Have you ever seen a paparazzi shot from the United Kingdom of William or Catherine taking their children to school? No. Have you seen shots of Harry and Meghan taking their children to school in California? Yes, you have. So again, another lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Meghan is not in a good space to even be likable. Let's just say that. The fact that she continually makes digs at her life within the royal family and living in the United Kingdom just shows you she's not ready for growth. She's not ready to get beyond the things that she experienced in the United Kingdom. And this is why people are just not going to warm to her. She's not likable. Give an honest answer to your life in Montecito without trying to make the royal family or your life in the UK seem like it was hell on earth. I mean, the things that you're saying, you can do anywhere in the world. Why are you saying these things as if you're now just getting the first chance to do these things and dream and live this life? It's ridiculous. Meghan will never be able to be likable because she always, through this whole interview, makes digs at her previous life. I would have been grateful to have half the experiences that she had living in the royal family. You know, this is Meghan, once again, just being the mean girl that we know her to be. That's exactly what it is, Dan.
Yeah, and then and look, this is one of those examples where Emily does try to call her out very, very softly. Again, total make-believe around how her name works, how the dukedom works. Watch this.
She can't let go of the past. Every positive about her current life comes with a dig at the royal family. It's exhausting. She's addicted to reinvention. Each new Meghan contradicts the last. The constant rebranding makes her seem fake. She avoids accountability. Failures are never her fault. They're clickbait, trolls, racism, or misinterpretation. She talks down to people.
Question, what have you learned about yourself since becoming Sussex?
Well, interesting. What I learned about myself is no matter what my name is or what people call me, I'm still the same person. So that didn't change who I am. And maybe that's probably the biggest distinguishing factor.
Give me a tutorial on royal naming conventions. So, like, are you Meghan Sussex? Are you Meghan Duchess of Sussex?
Mm-hmm.
Is Markle even on your passport anymore? Is it, we don't use that term anymore?
Well, when I got married, I changed my name.
Yeah.
But it's a complicated one for people to understand because a last name is not typical in that construct.
I think we expect a last name, but is that a last name or is that actually
It's not, but
a last
it's used roughly, or loosely rather. It sounds so silly to say, and I get it because I'm American, and then I went there and I started to understand, then you come back, and as an American you go, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
It's a dukedom.
A dukedom. That's a new word for me.
It's a dukedom.
Okay.
So, but that's the truth of it. But at the end of the day, you know, yes, so my legal name is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. But Sussex, for us, works as our family name. And it's the name that we share with our children. And But yes, since we've been married, that's what I've been called.
I mean, she doesn't know what she's talking about, but the whole thing is completely awful because there's also that complete condescending tone looking down on the British royal family. Oh, it's a dukedom. Well, why are you clinging to it then? But look, there's two sides of this debate. Narinder Kaur says, firstly, it's Meghan Sussex. Secondly, she's entitled to have her say on her experiences. Thirdly, wearing old granny tights in nudes was left in the 1980s, and it's hilarious how we value freedom of speech. Yet a duchess felt she couldn't even be her true self in the royal family. She was expected to be fake. But according to Taz, on the other hand, said, notice how she just couldn't answer the question simply. I thought she was Meghan Sussex now. Or did she just say that to Mindy? Basically, she hasn't got a clue herself. It's whatever earns her the most attention and money. And P. Diner, it was such a typical Meghan answer, wasn't it? Like, oh, I know why you're so confused, because you're a stupid American. No, we're all confused because you have not made this clear one bit.
And, once again, she just makes up things that she wants people to believe about her. Mountbatten Windsor is her last name. This is a woman who is trying to create a narrative and make other people feel as if, oh, they're stupid, these Americans, they don't know what's going on. Well, hey, the Brits don't either. They're like, why are you doing this? And I feel like Meghan is this woman that just feels like she can write her own rules and do whatever she wants to do, and no one's going to say anything. And this is why I think the royal family, they really have to control the narrative around this woman. She is trying to do things that she knows are not okay to do, but yet no one says anything. And that's a problem because they've never faced anyone like this before. And I think this is part of the problem. They have never had a Meghan Markle before. But something needs to give here. Someone needs to come out. Hey, look, Meghan, no, that is not your name. They need to really blatantly come out and say these words to make it very clear. Because Meghan needs to she needs someone to tell her, hold up, wait a minute. You're not going to continue creating this false narrative for the people, because she will continue to do it and see how far she can take it. That's what she does. Someone needs to put a stop to it. It's unbelievable how this woman just thinks she can just go about her day and say what she wants and look down on people and make jibes at the royal family and just continue doing her little show and painting her little pretty pictures.
Yeah. And
She
her
needs
little
someone
sort
to
of
show
like
her.
dismissive laugh when she's asked
Yes.
something that she can't answer. And this happens at another point where Emily Chang really tries to drill down on like whether Meghan is constantly trying to rebrand herself. Watch this.
Whether it's lecturing Americans about dukedoms or laughing off fair questions, she exudes condescension. She's just not relatable. Ironically, for someone obsessed with relatability, her curated image, Montecito Mansion, and contradictions make her feel distant and inauthentic.
Between the show and as ever, the podcast.
It's been a busy year.
It's been a busy year. You were off social media for years and now you're back on. Do you feel like you're sort of launching a new you or rebranding yourself?
No, I think, how funny. No, I think I finally get to share the me that's been here for so long that people maybe haven't had the same visibility to. Coming back on Instagram was a really big decision, but also it's just been joyful. And I'm really intentional in using it as a platform to share joy and to have fun as well. And so I get to play and explore. I play in public.
Oh, P. Diner, it's when she sort of tries to make Emily Chang feel stupid. This is her tactic. You see, oh, how funny that you've asked that. No, you have rebranded yourself. You are constantly trying to rebrand yourself. It's not working.
Yeah, I think Megan feels like she is better than everyone else, simply put. She just really has this aura about her that makes her feel like, I'm in royalty and I can talk and say what I want. These are my experiences and whatever you think is what you think, but I'm going to do what I wanted to do. And that's, I think, where the problem is for Megan. Is as she continues to try to make herself seem like someone that we should buy products from and buy into her as ever, all while she's doing all of this stuff, Dan, we are really beginning to know and see her for who she is, and we don't like her. She's unlikable. And it's the arrogance of this woman that's gotten her caught up in this conundrum that she will eventually figure out she can't win. She will never win for this attitude right here. It will leave her on the bottom floor every single time because she just doesn't get it. You're not likable. No one's buying from you. Nobody.
No, I mean, I think the most uncomfortable part of the entire interview for Meghan was when, for the first time I've ever seen this, she was challenged, because she hasn't been challenged at all about the terrible structure of the business and the failure of all of that. But for the first time, she was challenged directly about the bad reviews. Now, that's an understatement, of course, because the whole Netflix thing has been a flop. But it's very interesting to see how she reacts, because this is a woman who hates even the slightest bit of criticism or someone just actually speaking the reality about her failure. Watch this.
Meghan's Bloomberg interview was supposed to reintroduce her as a savvy businesswoman, a loving mom, and a relatable duchess. Instead, it highlighted all the traits that make her so divisive: dishonesty, arrogance, obsession with victimhood, and a total lack of self-awareness. Emily Chang went soft on her, but even the subtle pushback exposed cracks in Meghan's facade.
Hit the top 10
Yeah,
globally. And yet there were mixed reviews.
I watched every episode of the Meghan Markle Netflix show, so you don't have to.
Today my guest is a dear friend who I've known for about 20 years, so welcome in, Fabian.
Meghan, right?
Yeah, Megan, right.
I saw so many people recreate her recipe, so like, where's the hate coming from?
How did that land for you?
I think I knew who I was trying to meet. And so if you know your audience, you know your demographic, well, they love the show. And my partners love the show, and that's why we have a season 2 and why we have more fun coming. So I think oftentimes the negative voices, are they saying negative things and then secretly going home and making single skillet spaghetti? Possibly. And that's all right. They're trying to pay their bills, and that's for them to sort out if they're comfortable doing it at someone else's detriment. From my standpoint, the intention of the show was to share more of myself, to share tips that I love in my life, and to have fun.
But there's this take that you're glorifying homemaking or glorifying trad wives.
Oh, really? That feels odd to me.
Yeah, how do you respond to that?
That feels odd to me. I mean, I hadn't heard that. But I'm really unapologetic about the fact that though would it be lovely to go and churn your own butter? Sure, maybe. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And I don't think you get an extra gold star if you do that. So for me, a lot of it is, how do you show up thoughtfully? I don't have time to make dinner every night. I wish I did. I don't have time for that. I'm great at ordering takeout and plating it beautifully. And look, and yes, do I have small things where even on my kids' plates, I wipe the side of the plate? Someone might go, oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. For me, that's 2 seconds where I get to present something that looks a little bit more beautiful. I have absolutely no judgment on trad wives. If that works for them, then they should do it. But for me, I think there is an in-between. And joy for me comes in finding that sweet spot in the middle.
Oh my God, P. Dinah, this was one of the most fascinating moments for me. So there's 2 aspects that I want to pick up on, right? Firstly, she says, and you can just see the brittle fury. The partners loved the show. That's why we have a season 2. Rubbish. Another lie. You're lying again. Netflix decided not to have a season 2, but just to break up season 1 into 2 parts because the whole thing was such a disaster. Then note that she doesn't say, and there's another series coming. She says there's more fun coming. That's because at this point, there is no series 3. There may well never be a series 3. Then you get to the trad wife thing. I mean, how stupid does she think she is? Of course she knows people are talking about this. And this utter lunacy that she thinks in some ways, because she's liberal, because she's on the left, that she's not a trad wife when she's wittering on about plating up her husband's takeaway nicely is just for the birds.
The lies about pantyhose, the confusion over her name, the Netflix spin, the clickbait paranoia, it all piled up into yet another PR disaster. Here's the irony. Meghan could be likable if she just owned her past mistakes, stop bashing the royals, and focus on building something real. People might actually root for her. But instead, she doubles down on the same old victim narrative, And the more she does it, the less anyone believes her. At the end of the day, Meghan keeps insisting she's just being herself. But after so many versions of herself, the world has one question left. Which Meghan is a real one,